Okay, let me start by saying I'm not trying to dispel your belief whether you believe it's round or it's flat. I want you to consider something that perhaps you haven't thought about, regardless of which side of that concept that you're on. Don't forget, there's some out there still believing the hollow earth theories. Don't want to knock them out. But those of you that are looking into this or have taken a stance on it, either way, I want you to hear what I got to say to you. This is important. Let me begin by saying there's only one author of confusion. Now, the idea, I want you to look at it perhaps an added perspective. You know, the whole round and flat thing. The flat earth idea goes back a long way, and in different cultures all across the world. And it's been around forever. There is no new thing under the sun, as it were. And so, a wise man said that once. The idea, the flat, so it's been around for centuries. I mean, really, since the beginning, I guess, people were figuring. But I think the round goes back as far as Capernaum. And so there's some history there, but the mass majority of people don't know everything there is to know. Let me give you an example, a real short one. Y'all know how I am, I guess. But nobody that I know, I mean, I'm not saying somebody doesn't know, but nobody that I know knows what the representative or politicians or whomever had for breakfast or for dinner. Many people don't know what their neighbor next door to them or down the way a little or whatever. Most people don't know what they did to start their day off. And so everybody's in their own little world, in their own little bubble, as it were. So, given that thought, well, there adds a fourth dimension now, because you've got the flat, you've got the round, or egg-like almost, oblong, however you want to look at that. Then you have the hollow, we mentioned just vaguely. And now we have the concept of each one of us in our own little world, right? And that has a tendency to be true, regardless of round or flat. But I was wondering, since this has been around for centuries, why all of a sudden, in my thinking, bear with me if you will, hang with me, it's important. But I was considering why all of a sudden, say within the last 6 months, this resurgence of the flat earth theories, coming to the thing just in masses almost, it's really taken on like wildfire. And I was considering, why now? Because, okay, let's say, for sake of argument, that the earth were a pyramid or a triangle. And I know it's not at all. And there's the Illuminati symbol, the pyramid, no. But I'm just saying, just for an example, just so that it's not round or flat for a moment. It could be a square. I really don't want to go there either, because boy, that opens a whole bunch of worms. It's amazing how we're taken by geometric. The point is that now we have a fifth perspective, because outside of those bubbles, I wanted to understand that, okay, who's the one that said it was flat at the beginning? Or who was the one that said it was round at the beginning? And you start looking into this and how governments, if you will, bear with me, how the governments of the world have conspired together for whatever the belief systems that they have instilled upon their populace. Now, if the earth is round, then a great many people are being deceived all of a sudden with the resurgence of the flat earth. However, if the earth is flat, in order to acknowledge that, one has to, well, basically deny trust in their government. Now listen to me. This is the thing that a lot of people have been missing. If everything is orchestrated and it's been lies, everything that we hear, we know the mass media is lies, it's to a point where anything anybody hears they don't believe. Even some of the stuff that's truth, they refuse to believe, which is a sad thing in itself. But let's just say the government would just pick, I don't know, Joe Bazooka or something, sitting up there in his little controlling office or whatever you want to call it, and he's like, okay, we're gonna teach the people that the earth is round, and we're gonna put people on the moon, and people don't believe that. The Apollo, interesting name choice, Apollo missions and all the landings and all of this and that. More and more you have that coming out, that maybe that wasn't all true. It was probably staged or movie type media kind of stuff. People are not believing the Mars bit. Then you have, and it's both spectrums here. You've got the people that believe in the alien concepts or the fallen technology, if you will, and so they believe that we can go through which one? David Allen, Van Allen, magnetics. I can't even think of all this stuff there. There's just so much I'm trying to, I really want to tell you this in a short time so that you got it. Something you need to think about. Why all of a sudden? Okay? First you have last year the whole Jade Helm thing. Everybody's jumping on board with that. And then you start hearing more and more of the flat earth. Well, interestingly, if you're a flat earther, regardless of your sciences or your belief or any of that, a flat earther has to actually admit that they don't trust their government. Think about that. And I may have repeated a little bit, but I want you to think about that. On the terrorist threats concerning the world now, as it were, are in such a manner that our governments, especially in America, are trying to crack down on would-be terrorists, people that fit that bill, more so than ISIS waivers, even though Muslim extremists and things like that are definitely profiled. However, in this day and age, it's like those that was out there on the Texas ranch or the whatever, those standoff out there in Oregon, those kinds of things. Ex-military are considered a possible threat or danger. They could snap, or they could fight back against this government that they don't trust. Or Christians who are preaching out against the corruption and the things like that. You have survivalists who are getting ready for World War III or the end of the world, or to be able to survive against whatever might be coming. And you have all of these people that are listed for the government as possible threats, and now they're talking about possible dirty bombs and nuclear terrorism. My first video I ever did was a prophetic dream I had. That may still come true, man. Even more so now. I'm looking that it probably will. I don't know that. But I know why that they put this out. Because if they're trying to divide, and it's all about division, folks, this is what the whole point is. It doesn't matter if you're on flat or round. you're going to suffer the same consequences on the soil that you stand on, regardless of the geometric shape of the hole. And that's a fact. So listen to my point. It's not about the debate as much. Oh, it's definitely an interesting distraction to take one away or deeper into truth maybe. But what? Why is, I guess, the question, would the powers that be want to let this out? If it's a hidden truth, if it really is the flat earth theory and it's hidden truth and you can't get into Antarctica and all of this, maybe. With all the war buildups and all of these things going on, there's a lot, really, going on a geopolitical thing here. But if they're trying to create division through race, through religion, through ideologies, through different lifestyles and practices of the populaces, try and create those divisions. But a lot of those divisions only show a minute support for government. And we bring in the Donald Trump, you've got anger in the crowds, we're trying to create revolutions in different places. And when I say we, I mean they, the powers that be, just like they disturb things all around the world, it would seem. Why would they want to let that truth out at this particular time? Even though it's been around for centuries, it's always been there. It's just, why all of a sudden the big kick for people to start looking into that? Because they have to announce that they distrust the government. And if you don't believe in the moon landing, they think you're a possible threat. If you don't believe in the Mars or the space program, then you're a possible threat. If you don't believe they can pass the Van Allen bounce, or if you don't believe that they've got all the extra satellite technology, and a lot, they don't want you to think that they have scalar weapons and scalar technologies. Look into that. That's a big thing. They really do. And with Russia and America, Russia's just doubled their nuclear production, breaking that deal that they had made about reducing, even though America's still reducing and China's building up. It's just crazy, folks. Gotta be paying attention. But in that division, if there were going to be roundups, that's a lot of what people say. Well, what better way to get everybody, okay, we'll teach them this forever, we'll teach them it's round, and then we'll really instigate that it's flat. So that anybody disagrees with the round globe theory automatically is disagreeing with the government, and we can put them into a FEMA or a lockup or whatever it might be if the case come to martial law or civil unrest. And they're marked already by their own admittance that, oh, well, the government's been lying to us all these years. So maybe it's flat. Maybe the government's been lying. People already know the government lies about all kinds of things, and that's just what they do. Because they don't want fear amongst the populations. And so maybe it's flat, and they've taught us it was round to get us to flip. Or maybe they believe it's round, but they're shooting things into space, and they're got the space station. So somebody somewhere has to know. We don't have footage of the Earth. I don't know why. If we can go up that far, why not really get some good images? Maybe all of that. Would it not break down? See, this is the thing. It scares some people. They say the reason we want to keep the whole flat earth concept, even though the maths are there and there's different... You've got a good argument on both sides, really. Just depending on what stance. But the debate is irrelevant. It really is. Because it's another distraction to take you away from what's really going on. Trust me. Whether it's round, flat, square, triangular, doesn't matter. Really doesn't at this point. Once upon a time it was a great debate and has been through the centuries. But again, there's no new thing under the sun. It's interesting, under the sun, that goes along with your flat earth. But to admit it is to admit you distrust your government. And if you distrust your government, well, you're an easier rounded up target, because now you've become a terrorist threat. This could be a good reason they want to instigate this division, because now to do that, you literally are admitting point blank. You can only believe flat earth if you totally believe the government or distrust the government and believe they're lying. What better way to bring the rest of the terrorists' threats to the top? From a government standpoint, if you will. I'm looking at it from whoever would the power to be. Okay, what if it really is round? And they teach you it's round, and then they put the deception out that it's flat. Or they've tried to hide it all along, and now through people's studies, somebody says, okay, it could be billionaires sitting up there and say, well, we've taught them it was round all along. I'd bet you $1 I could make them believe that it's flat. Nixon, when he was in office, he was a Democrat. He said, because that previous to that, people had voted, most black people voted Republican. You can do the history on that too. Nixon said, after the things that he had done in office, he said, and it's recorded statements, go look it up. He said, I'll get I'll get the black vote for the next 200 years. And he was talking about Republicans changing over to Democrat. Amazing how they do stuff. They say and do things in politics to create division between race, to create division between all of the different everything. Really. Because it's order out of chaos. They have to create a problem. Now, in order to select what we've got to do to stop that problem, well, we need to divide them up and pick who's what. And anybody that distrusts the government, well, that's definitely a threat possibility. And since we're doing all these new laws and considering civil unrest in due time, anybody that's a flat earther, anybody that's a moon landing denier, anybody that does anything that goes against what we've hammered into their heads through the programming of media and everything else, if they go against us, if you can believe in aliens, I think they don't mind that. You can believe a lot of things, but sometimes the things we believe becomes nothing more than a distraction. We miss the point of it. Why would they release such information, and why is it taking hold and grip? Are people so lost in the world that they're just debating and jumping on anything and everything except what's really going on? It looks like America's in trouble, and I mean that on such a major scale. But I just want to throw out, is it round, is it flat? I don't know. Either way, I still don't understand why we have the water in my sink goes down counterclockwise, but if I'm in Australia, it's going down clockwise. It just, so it's the same regardless. But you can't say it's just because of a rotational thing, and the reason I say that is because you can go to where the equator's at in different places in the world, and you can literally do it your own experiment. Water will drop straight down on the equator line that they've got. Has to do with magnetics, they say. I don't know. But I know that it'll spin one way on one side of the equator, and after you get a little ways away from it, it'll spin the other way on the other side. And we're talking within 50 foot of each other. So you can have it spinning like this down on the center line. The center line drops, but it spins like this on either side. Now, if it were just, say, America and China, you can understand that, and you'd say, oh, well, that's the rotation and stuff. I don't know. A lot of things to look at. But here's the deal. We don't understand it all. There's no way we're going to. We're in the dark for the most part. But be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. Don't fall for the traps and the snares that are laid there just to divide one and miss the point of reality. My thing is that why this big push for such a thing? I don't know. But I'm betting you that the government is checking out websites. Sure enough. Because if there is a civil unrest, anybody that believes anything other than what they've been told to believe, well, shows a lack of trust in your government. That puts you in a bad position in reality, doesn't it? You can believe what you want to believe what you're going to believe, and pray you get the truth. But remember, again, the ground you're standing on, that piece of soil you're on, when it comes your time to lose your breath and that heart stop, it don't matter what shape the whole globe is, or the whole map, or flat, or whatever. The land mass only matters where you stand when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and your breath is fleeting away. Some dark times coming, folks. You better wake up. Better pay attention. Better watch all the tricks, traps, and snares. It's Photo Helix. Watchman on the wall. First episode like this, huh?